Hi, I'm Brandon. I love Amazon Prime Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Amazon Prime Christmas movies.
I'm Alonzo, and the bar just got raised real high on Amazon Prime Christmas movies, and this
is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Well, hello, everybody.
Oh, boy.
My goodness gracious.
We're almost to July, Brand.
It's the last week of
You've
June.
been insufferable.
Yeah. Yeah, I have, in fact. Hallmark Movies and Mysteries is playing Christmas movies right now. Frickin'
yeah, they are
losing my mind.
Yesterday was Leon Day.
Yeah, that's right. Special Leon Day,
Shout
Christmas
out.
morning.
Halfmas.
I don't get that, but I get why it's a big deal. It's a very big deal in my heart. I don't understand calling it Leon Day. Like, I know where it came from. I just don't get the appeal.
It turns out there was actually a pro baseball player named Leon Day, so I'm sure his fans get very confused.
Yeah,
every June.
Leon Day, let's go.
Every June 25th, he's just like, what is going on?
I had the spike of Google.
This is happening again. Well, it's great to be here today. I will say, before we started recording, Dan asked for a Topo
Chico, and you did.
And
you
I
went,
did
Topo Chico, like Popo Gijo from
yes.
the Santa Claus.
Yes.
And you just mentioned, Alonzo, just
flippantly.
offhanded. You guys don't even know the original reference. And we were like, yes, we do, the
Santa Claus, Tim Allen.
Yes, no.
Watch yourself. So, and then we're like, so he's doing a bit there. Can you please inform us?
Yeah,
The bit. Let me footnote this for the kids. The bit that Tim Allen is doing, which I guess even by the 90s was already kind of like an old reference. There was a beloved Italian puppet named Topo Gigio, who was a recurring guest on the Ed Sullivan Show, which was a very popular variety show.
I know what the Ed Sullivan Show is.
Alonzo, come on.
Well, to be fair, Brad.
Brad,
To be fair. No, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be
Stop
offended.
interrupting me. The Ed Sullivan Show was a very popular variety show that aired on Sunday nights on CBS. He was a long-time entertainment columnist, and everybody did Ed Sullivan. Like the Beatles made their U.S. TV premiere on the Ed Sullivan Show. It was a huge, everybody, the world stopped to watch Ed Sullivan on Sunday nights. And Topo Gigio was this puppet that people loved, that it would show up a couple times a year. And so Tim Allen is doing an Ed Sullivan voice saying Topo Gigio, and because Ed Sullivan had a very distinct way of speaking. And so whenever you see like an old comedian talking about, we've got a really big show for you tonight, they're doing Ed Sullivan. That's the way he spoke. So Tim Allen is making an Ed Sullivan reference, but of course for the children of the 90s, Ed Sullivan is like ancient history. So y'all just thought this was a Tim Allen joke.
So I knew a lot of the Ed Sullivan history, you said. I did not know about Topo Gigio, and I did not pick up he was doing an Ed Sullivan joke. But like when Robin Williams does in The Genie in Aladdin, when he's like direct from the lamp, I know he's doing an Ed Sullivan bit there. I just didn't catch this one.
I've been to the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Yeah,
twice.
There you go. Yes, named for him. That's where he shot the show on Sunday nights.
I saw a live Letterman there, and I saw a live Colbert there.
Very cool. So you'll see him work into more recent movies, like Down with Love, for instance. There's a scene where Judy Garland goes on the Ed Sullivan Show and promotes Renee Zellweger's book, and so they work in the footage and that kind of thing. But yeah, Ed Sullivan was still on TV when I was a little kid. I think his show lasted till 1975 or something. But it's that thing like when you watch old Bugs Bunny cartoons and they're doing jokes about Humphrey Bogart, and it's like the 20th century encompassed everything from vaudeville to the Love Boat, and beyond, and you guys came in at the tail end of all that.
And thank God Babylon was there to show us how it all worked. Right?
I will say,
ouch!
I just saw a still from season 2 of the Santa Clauses, and for people like me that stuck with it and really enjoyed it, I'm excited.
I did not finish season 1.
Me neither.
Oh, you didn't either, Alonzo?
No, I bailed.
Aaron is over here beaming. Like
it was
fun.
Not
a good time. You guys were wrong.
No, we're not wrong. You're wrong.
Whatever.
Oh, what's that hole? No, it's not. Just keep walking, bud. Oh, just kidding. It is there. Oh, no, he's down for the count. Hope to never see you again. Your Christmas reminds me.
Brian's down here. We're going to be just fine.
Brian's down there in the hole, too?
Yeah, yes.
He said we didn't have Diet Coke.
You told him to die in a hole earlier.
I don't want anyone to die in a hole. I want them to live.
You've told me to die no less than 4 times in the
You're
last 24
different.
hours.
You're barely a person.
Live a full life in a hole.
In my mind,
right, yeah.
You're just on the edge of being a real person. Like there's this. Sometimes you surprise me.
That's right.
Sometimes you surprise me. Well, you surprised me today with Your Christmas or Mine. Amazon Prime Video, December 2nd, 2022. And it went a little something like this. The movie starts and we follow a single snowflake from the sky floating on down to the ground. It is Christmas Eve. And Haley and James are young. They're in love. They're getting ready to head to their homes for Christmas. They're at the station and they're doing a whole thing. He hands her a present. They take pictures. It's wonderful. But James is like, what if you come with me? What are you doing in my train? And she's like, I would love to, but so she's like, I gotta go. And she goes to head to her train. He tries to say, I love you, but it doesn't quite connect. And so as he is about to get on his train, he's got the picture and he's like, you know what? I want to be with her for Christmas. So he's like, forget it. I'm going to go run and get on her train. At the same time, she sits down in her train and she's like, you know what? Forget it. I like this guy. He knows me. He know I try to open this present on the train on Christmas Eve. I want to be with this guy for Christmas. So she runs off the train and gets onto what she thinks is his train. And they both decide that they are going to do this and not try to find each other on the train. That would be too easy. This is going to be a surprise situation.
Too easy.
It's going to be a surprise situation. We'll get off the train, and you'll be like, what? You? Me?
Yeah.
What?
We need some alone time.
Popo Shisho. And so, darn it, she gets off at his stop and realizes that she left her phone on the train. That's going to be tough, huh? And she gets to James's house, and it's like a mansion in the country, and there's a guy outside the property with a gun. And he gets to her house, and it's a nice, quaint house decorated for Christmas with inflatables and multiple colors and all these wonderful things, and walks in and sees her family that he's never met before. And they think that it's her walking through the door. It's not her walking through the door. It's just rando. And they don't know him. And it becomes pretty clear that they don't know that their kid is dating. Like they don't know any of this.
They don't know that their kids is dating.
They don't know that a kid's is dating. That's exactly right.
These kids is dating.
These kids is dating. How you doing?
Is our children learning?
And so
Save it.
Save it. So they're finally able to talk on the phone, and they decide that they're going to try to keep this a secret and just like try to figure this out, basically. So his dad is a grumpy man. Her family is a lot. At one point, they both try to leave and get on trains to go home, but all the trains are canceled due to the big snows. Haley stumbles upon old Christmas decorations that haven't been used since James's mom died 4 years ago, and so she decorates the house, but realizes that the dog ran out of the house, so she goes to try to get the dog, has to climb underneath the electric fence, and naturally the neighbor with the dog accidentally shoots the dog, but the bullet just skims the top of the dog's head.
Yeah.
Neighbor with the gun. Yeah, so the dog is okay, just a little flesh wound, But when Dad walks in and sees the decorations and my dog has blood coming from its head, he gets real mad about this. Then James meets Steve, who is apparently Haley's fiance. A fiance, obviously, he knew nothing about. This is a big surprise to him. And so we find out that they aren't engaged anymore. Steve's just kind of a dummy and decides he's still going to show up, and like you might think that we're broken up, but we're not. I'm gonna power through this thing. We'll end up together. And they talk on the phone, and he's like, I can't believe you didn't tell me that you were engaged. And she's like, it's not so easy over here either. This is a mess, blah, blah, blah. And like, let's just be done with this. They kind of leave not on great terms. She tries to leave in the snow in the middle of the night and forgets her inhaler back at the old estate. She collapses, but luckily Dad comes to the rescue. His dad comes to the rescue and brings the inhaler. And it's like, you're great. Thanks. This was wonderful. And then her entire family decides, you know what? On Christmas, we're all going to hop in the old ice cream truck turned turkey delivery truck, and we're going to go spend Christmas with our daughter and get you to your dad. So they all show up, and Haley and James, they talk about it, and they kiss, and they love each other, and the families are kind of there on Christmas, and we all are better for it. And that, my friends, was your Christmas or mine.
We did it.
That's exactly right. I'm going to take a break.
Are you now?
We're going to come back. We're going to break this movie down here on
Deck the Hallmark.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome back. The Monday before Christmas in July.
Man.
We'll go through this week. What's fun is we got a couple we got this, which is Christmassy. Wednesday, we got, I think, Wednesday plum pudding. We're doing a little of that. So a lot of fun kind of leading into Christmas in July.
Yeah,
but boy,
to kickstart that bad boy early.
yeah, it's going to be real fun. Let's talk about this, though. Your Christmas or Mine, a Prime original from last year. A movie that I didn't really hear anything about on my end. I don't know, Alonzo, if you had heard, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on the movie now that you've seen it.
I had heard about it from Sleepy Kitty Paw, who was very much a fan of it, although her taste and mine do not always align, so I did not get to this one until now.
Rest in peace, obviously.
Rest in peace, obviously.
She's not dead.
Retired.
Retired from the Christmas
hung
movie
up
game.
Hung up the tweeting. Thumbs.
Tweeting.
Hung up her thumb.
Tweeting in paradise. I don't know.
Yeah.
So on this program, when we have talked about like the best that Hallmark has to offer, like the most satisfying of their Christmas movies, the most successful of their Christmas movies, are great. Like the highest praise that we can give those movies is borderline real movie.
Real movie territory. Exactly.
Real movie territory. Yeah. And I'm going to say that Your Christmas or Mine is a real movie.
Let's go.
I loved this so much. It is sweet and funny and snowy and, it all works and there's great chemistry. It's really, really hard to make a successful rom-com where the two leads are separate for almost the entire movie. And they stick that landing. I love this thing. It's great. I'd say with the possible exception of Spirited, this is the best movie we've ever talked about on this program.
Wow. Spirited. Is that the Jen Lilly one?
No, the Will Ferrell,
Ryan
Will
Reynolds.
Ferrell.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, that makes more sense. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, Brian.
Why'd you have to bring Spirited into this? We are having such a good time. The
Brian,
snow in this movie is insane. Just the overall vibe of this movie is insane. Like, this movie starts and you're falling a snowflake from the sky all the way to the ground, and the snow's just flowing, and you're just like, great. And then you see these two kids, and these little lovebirds are just all happy for Christmas. Immediate, right out of the gate, you're like, this is something special going on here. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And I agree, Alonzo, the fact that they were apart the whole movie, you would think that would, like, it almost didn't even occur to me that it happened until the end, and I'm like, oh yeah, we've done this whole thing, and they've only been in like 2 scenes together. It's fantastic. Really enjoyed it. And I also liked Something from Tiffany's from Prime Video as well, and this is another one to add to the rotation for me of movies from Prime Video that I'm going to be watching this holiday season. Really looking forward to watching it again. Dano?
Yeah, so movies like this are tough for me because there's so many contrivances you have to grant at the beginning, like let's not talk to each other on the train or what have you. And like, why don't I just immediately say, hey, I'm Haley's boyfriend, I'm here, like things like that. Having said all of that, it still really worked for me. I wanted to not like it because the premise was so contrived, and I still adored this movie. And I don't count Spirited because it was released in the movie theaters, and I do think that means something. So not including that one, I would say this is one of the only one of these movies we've covered that I would happily watch again and probably will. Asa Butterfield is great. Cora Kirk, I've never heard of Cora Kirk
Shout
before.
out.
Never. She is wonderful in this movie. And when you're apart, when the 2 leads are going to be apart all movie long, you have to believe that they love each other, believe in their chemistry. And man, do these 2 really do a good job here. Both families are fun in their own way. Haley's family is a blast. It really does. The soundtrack is great.
Oh, it's great.
The snow is amazing. Cozy, Christmas, good chemistry, well written, funny. 2 huge thumbs up. I'm just telling you.
Did you like the movie?
I loved the
Dan loved the movie. Oh my. Dan loved the movie. Take it, Alonzo.
Dan like the movie.
Hey.
Dan like the movie.
movie. I got to be honest. If you don't like this one, I do feel like you might just not like
this is how I feel about you on a regular basis. And it's great to like have you kind of on the side.
It's a movie that like the plot is so absurd, and it's been done 100 times in sitcoms, but like to have an hour-and-a-half movie where like one phone call or rental car fixes it, like typically I'm out on that in a hurry. And this movie works very well in spite of it. I really enjoyed myself. A lot of fun.
I would show this movie to Dave White.
Whoa.
Wow.
The other one I really like that we've watched, I didn't get to be on the podcast because something came up. It's the one with all the storylines from Netflix.
Yeah, Let It Snow.
They
right?
all, Let It Snow.
Let It Snow, yeah.
That's a really good one.
That one would probably be up there with this one, in my opinion, as the 2 best we've watched.
You weren't
Agreed.
on that one.
I wasn't. I literally last minute something happened. I had to go. I don't remember what it was.
Classic.
Yeah. I think my kid got hit in the head with a golf club, I believe.
Yeah.
Had to go to the emergency room for stitches.
Whatever
So, what are
you
gonna
say,
do?
That
bud.
old saw.
This guy. It's time for all the fields. This is where we talk about what
Dog
gave
ate
us
my homework.
right.
Got
What
hit in the head with a golf club.
wait, listen, it's a tale as old as time. What? Oh my gosh! This
Yeah,
guy.
you're right.
Oh man, wouldn't you know it? It happened again. Gotta go.
Hello. The golf club. Oh.
Oh, man.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Guys, I gotta. Yeah.
It's time for all the feels where we talk about what gave us those Christmas feels or feels in general. Alonzo?
Scattered throughout. I think one of the things that I always love in a movie like this is the let's call it the melting frost. You know, the people who are like grumpy and don't like Christmas or are shut off from their emotions and are sort of brought back into the world. So like obviously James's dad having clearly sort of walled himself off after the death of his wife, and how Haley manages to sort of bring him out again and make him love Christmas again, and even like sort of reconcile him with the guy who turns out to be his dad. So all of that stuff I loved. Just, I was just talking with somebody who had spent several Christmases in London because his sister and her husband were living there. And we just sort of talked about how the Christmas in London, how they really just turn it into this lovely bauble. And I've never been, and I've always wanted to, but like, I think that's what makes a movie like Love Actually or Last Christmas so appealing, is the way the British have turned this holiday into just this wonderfully the spectacle basically. And so I loved all the stuff of Haley's family and their rituals and the musical reindeer and all that stuff, So yeah, I had a lot of Christmas feels, and I had a lot of, sentimental feels as well.
Why is this snow so hard to get down on a regular basis? Like this, per Wikipedia, maybe you've heard of it.
Per Wikipedia,
this movie was filmed the
whole Pedia family
in August.
People. Yeah,
was filmed in August.
No way.
That's what it says.
No way.
Filmed in August.
No. I just don't buy it.
It was filmed in August. That's what it says.
It can't.
Filming took place in August of 2021 at Pinewood Studios. That's what Wiki. So this is all I'm saying. Hallmark, Up, all the channels at Lifetime that are doing this thing. Figure out how much it cost and just work it into the budget, because it really makes a difference.
It really does.
The good snow, the Christmas vibe, it's impeccable, and this just knocked it out of the park. But I do want to also point out a specific line that Haley said as she was talking to James's dad about the Christmas decorations and why there's no Christmas decorations set up. And he's like, I just don't like all the fuss. And she says, the fuss is the best part.
The best bit.
Darn tootin' it is. Yeah. The fuss is the best. I loved it. It gave me all the Christmas feels. It's not often I watch one of these movies and say amen, hallelujah. So, I love that. I love that a lot. Dano?
Yeah, when she decorates James's house, those decorations really worked for me. Haley's house, Christmas just kind of threw up everywhere, and that's all well and good, and that's fun, and everybody loves the matching outfits and robes and blah, blah, blah. But these kind of like decorations that have been sitting in this basement for 4 years, and she somehow, against all odds, decorates a chandelier by herself. It doesn't matter. It looks great. It looks homey and cozy and really, really good. And it's one of the few decorating montages that I thought served a purpose in these movies. So that was my feels.
And I believe that they were like the mom's decorations, and they weren't just bought at Ross.
Correct. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, it felt true to that specific place.
For sure.
Like it felt like it fits, which was wonderful. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll see if we can grab any Wait What's and the Prime the Pump here on Deck to Hallmark.
Prime time?
Prime time. Let's get to Wait What first, when we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? It's a movie all three of us really enjoyed and thought was really well done. Are there any Wait What's to be found? Let's find out. Alonzo.
I don't have a ton. I mean, this movie is sort of set up on a series of contrivances, but I think they do a pretty good job of establishing them. Like the fact that James is somebody who is a little on the shy and introverted side. I believe that he would be talked over so much by Cora's family that he wouldn't be able to by Haley's family, that he wouldn't be able to get it out in time. And then by the time that they talk on the phone and she's like, don't tell them anything. Because I do love the fact that I think one of the great things about this movie is, you have the central premise of, oops, we went to each other's houses, but also, oops, there's all this stuff about each other that we haven't shared with each other that we're now going to learn outside of each other's company. My one real wait what here is luggage.
Yeah.
Like, is anyone carrying a suitcase ever in this movie? Like, did they check it on the train and it went to the wrong place, or should they have a backpack? Like, there's not a lot of luggage for people going home for Christmas. That's kind of all I got.
Wow.
I don't have a ton either. I did, the fact that they don't know so much about each other, but they do know like an address or enough information to at least walk in the right direction to ask for. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll start going in the general direction of where her house is and then just kind of figure it out. He might even have the address. I think hers is a lot more like, hey, do you know where this person lives? But I think he has an address. So doesn't know she's engaged or was engaged.
Was engaged.
Does have the old address just handy dandy, which I think is really nice. The whole, hey, I'm giving you this present, and her opening it up on the train only to find another layer of wrapping paper underneath it with a note that says, can you at least wait until you get home, is really, really nice. But also, there's no way I'm not still tearing it open. I would have missed it. I would have missed the note.
Yeah.
I would have gone. I'm just like, who's like, and pull that out. Oh, there's more wrapping paper. This is so nice. No, I'm full clump pulling off the wrapping paper, right? That's how most people do that?
No, that's you.
That's me.
I think most people want to enjoy that gift a little bit more, especially if it's from their loved one.
Really?
They're probably going to.
You take your time opening presents?
I mean, now that I'm 39 years old, Bran, yeah, I do. I don't rip
What's
it
the
open
point?
like it's a Red Ryder BB gun.
What's the point?
To open the present and enjoy the experience of the gift someone took a lot of time to think about
No, you are enjoying. You're getting
part
to
of that
it.
is the wrapping of the gift.
You want your wife to take time opening your wrapping.
I don't wrap gifts for my wife. My wife gets gifts in a gift bag. Different. I can't wrap gifts.
You take your time opening presents?
I don't. It's Bran. You think there's two options, first or fifth gear? Here.
Yeah,
there isn't.
100%.
There's something lower than fifth gear.
I don't believe it.
If I may,
all right,
the whole thing of that moment is to show how well he knows her that she would immediately,
it is.
stare into it. So I would say that it's somebody in a relationship with Bran who knows his.
You wouldn't pull that on me. That's exactly right.
Here's what they would do. They would have a box under the paper. You would open the box, and then inside of that would be another wrapped gift with the note taped to it saying, "Stop now."
Yeah.
You lunatic with the gift.
Yeah.
This is for later. So I think it's all about gauging it for the person to show how well you know them.
Yeah, that's so sweet that there's people out there that slow.
I've not torn into wrapping paper on Christmas morning since I was a child, Bran.
I was going to say, we usually after the age of 10, Bran, most of us are a little more meticulous.
How do you open it up? I don't understand how you can open it up without
wrapping paper off.
How? How do you do that without ripping it?
There was a box.
I understand that. So the box has 2 layers of paper.
He ripped open the paper. There was a box. He opened up the box. There was another wrapping inside of it.
Also, if you're
I
on
didn't
a
notice
train,
that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a layer of wrapping paper that she unfolded, and then it was also wrapped underneath that.
No. There was something
that makes more sense to me.
All right.
I'm just.
Also, I think if you're on a train, you're going to be a little more grandma and untaping the paper so that you can then fold it and wad it up, as opposed to
Yeah, also no for me on that. But listen, we're all our own people. We're all our own people. I'm finding out so much about people. Yeah. This is so helpful.
Most of us adults aren't children.
Yeah, but I think that we are. I think everybody's just kidding themselves. I did get a hoot out of this inflatable Santa.
Yeah.
That scares the heck out of them.
Yeah.
That I don't know how motion activated it is, but it is somewhat motion activated. The first time, it just pops up and goes ho ho ho,
and
which is terrifying. Later on, it's a little bit more subtle, but I don't know. That's scary stuff.
It is what I can only describe as a haunted house Santa Claus.
It's a haunted house.
It is there, and it is completely deflated, and then once it senses your motion, full inflation, lights up and yells at you.
I can get behind this though, because this is a Santa that you can put up before Halloween, and it still works.
That's all we need.
That's nice. It's a nice seasonal transitional Santa inflatable.
Seasonal transition.
That's great.
Did you guys see the movie Unaccompanied Minors?
I have seen it.
There's a running joke where Terry Garr's character has such aggressive Christmas decorations, including the Santa that pops out of a chimney when people walk by, that it actually frightens people. I respect that level of commitment.
Yeah.
Dano.
So I do think that they did a good job covering up some of these contrived plot points. I think you're asking a lot for two people from a trust standpoint. When they walk in the house, they don't immediately say their name or how they know the person who owns the house. They don't say any of that immediately, and they get a phone call, and both of them, their phone call is, please don't tell my parents that I'm dating you.
Yeah.
Listen, I love you, wanted to spend Christmas with you. You're the love of my life. but do not tell my loved ones that I'm dating you. Don't do it. And both sides, I guess, are so worried about their side finding out that they just go with it. They just go with this idea.
If one person says that, then it's a violation of trust. If you're both saying it, then clearly you've got things going on.
There's still trust issues.
And I'll say, as much as Haley's family is talking over James, like, Haley is, of course, what is this house? Who are these people? Like, she's, I think, immediately kind of intimidated as well. And so that buys enough time of her silence to make that effective.
The Haley one was easier for me to buy because this is also, which I think we've not mentioned like explicitly yet, kind of a secret royal movie.
Yeah.
Because
a little bit.
Yeah, because I mean, that I buy. She's like, who are these people? Housekeeper, what's going on? This guy's like in the royal family. Oh my goodness. Whereas the way that they explain Asa Butterfield, I don't remember his name now in the movie. James, his kid, Hubert James. That's right. James not saying anything is he tells these two kids his name is Geely in the street, and so he has to stick with that because they live there. And so,
but he doesn't even say, like, it's again this sort of compounding misunderstanding where no one gets that his name isn't Gilet, but he's not.
He never, so many times they look at him and they say it, and he's just like,
he does try to correct them a lot, and they don't give him the time.
Yeah, but
he is a stammerer of the Hugh Grant.
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Now we're just making.
I will say this is an interesting couple that it like knows so much about each other, but they also, both of their relationships in a sense are built off of lies. Like, hey, there's lying in both of their backstories.
I understand
to get there.
I'm not here. Well, I am exactly here to rank lies in order of terrible.
Okay, go ahead. 5.
No, I've just got 2. 1.
2.
Saying that you're like not telling your significant other that you're secretly a part of the royal family. I think that's fairly common in these movies, and is something that you're trying. If you're, especially since you dodged out of the school you're supposed to be in. Like that one was like, okay, yeah, I would still trust him.
You want to be loved for you.
If you love this person,
not because you're 30th in line for the throne.
Like, no, exactly. But
300.
But for Haley to have broken off an engagement and at some point in their relationship not have been like, I was engaged, he wasn't right for me. You know, you would think that would come up at some point,
and not that long ago.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but now you've opened a whole path of inquiry here, which is this?
I saw them live, by the way.
So good.
Yeah, it's amazing. So many questions at the end, though. Is this the first Christmas that they have hit as a couple? In other words, like, did they meet at the beginning of the school year in like August, September-ish, and now it's December? Or have they been together for a while?
I'm just understanding their love to be at a point where they want to spend the holidays with each other. And that is the point where you've told each other about your previous relationships, in my estimation, I guess.
Fair.
But maybe I'm wrong. Most of my other one before I get to this whole dog running away thing, which is the rest of mine. The only other thing I have is, and I know in England, taking the train is your mode of transportation.
Hip, hip.
I understand that. I understand that Haley is in the middle of the country
all aboard.
And these are all really good. Has no phone.
Anyone know where the ball card is?
And so she is stuck. But James is in the middle of a big city, and there are other ways of getting around that aren't the train. And I understand rental cars aren't something as readily available in England, but I also feel like at the end they're just like, hey, why don't we all take a car out to the country? Why? What? Like at some point, especially after he hears that Haley's engaged to Steve, is he not finding, with all of his infinite royal wealth, a car and driving back home? I like, that was the one part of this movie that I was like, that doesn't check out to me. Is he would have found a way home that wasn't on a train, in my opinion.
Well, he also leaves his phone behind.
Oh, he does. That's true.
At her house. And I think by the time he comes back, I think that was his intent when he left. But then he has to go back for the phone. And then
I guess
sort of
when they go to the train station the first time and every train is canceled. This is before Steve.
I see what you're saying.
But I'm like, at that point, he's just going to go rent a car. Like, he's getting home. He's like, look, Haley's there. I got to find her. I got to get there. That was the one that I. Now, a big part of this movie is this dog runs away, and she goes and chases this dog, climbs under a questionable electric fence. It's wobbly. Like, I've seen some electric fences. None of them are held together by tape that have slack in them. They're all very taut, and then we think it doesn't work, but it does work. But my big question is at what point, and maybe I missed this in the movie, at what point does she open the front door to let the dog out?
To get the tree, to drag the tree.
Oh, she
into
does
the
drag.
room.
I asked you didn't know.
I thought it was to get the decorations, but then I was still working through it.
Yeah.
She drags one of the trees at the front door into the room to decorate it and leaves the door
That's
open.
right.
I didn't see that part. She climbs under this wobbly handmade electric fence that's not connected to anything. And then this dude comes up and fires his gun, and we see the dog lying there as though he's been killed. And it turns out that the bullet just grazed the dog, and then the dog is well enough to go, and he's just got this weird red mark on his face. I don't know if you saw that later on. And it's like, we'll have the bullet graze this dog, then the dog can still hunt for Haley, and it will just spray paint a little red on the dog so that we know that the dog was shot earlier.
It does feel like they wanted to kill the dog and they just couldn't do it.
Couldn't do
like
it.
they got the set that day and were like, guys, we can't do it. We can't do it. Just graze the head.
They know they need the dog later. They couldn't kill the dog.
That's all I've got.
There's the whole Act 3 asthma, inhaler.
Yeah, that's the part about this that was exceedingly British. Like every British movie has to have someone dying in it. Even Christmas movies. It's like, well, we're celebrating the good like tidings of Christmas and the cozy. But what if someone almost dies? It's like every single one, man.
Well, Jesus has come, but asthma still exists.
That's right. Amen.
It's the ongoing influence of 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, or the Last Christmas, or Christmas number one. Like it doesn't like they're all like it is.
You have
number one. They kill a little girl.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Well, we on this show.
Sure.
I'm not saying I start from the middle and just go right. Like there's a rhyme or like I go from the ends. I pull it and then I just rip.
I think you're in damage control right now.
No, I'm just saying.
You're trying to make it. You rip it.
What do you do? Do you bust out a letter opener?
No, I just slowly open
so
the
what?
gift.
But what does that mean?
I start in the middle where I see a seam and I pull to rip it off. I just don't do it fast. Like I'm not like
right. But what I don't do it fast. I'm just saying I'm not gonna do it one layer at a time. I grab it by the end and I just pull it.
Great.
You just push them.
Just push them.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not going nuts. So I'm just
okay.
Yes.
I'm not doing. Yeah. Well, yes. Apparently, I am. Yeah. I thought what I did was normal, but you guys are out here going. It's kind of open project.
Once again, there's somewhere in between.
Nope. No, there's
those
not.
Two things.
There is where
not. Normal people live.
No.
Yes, it is.
Why don't you go read a library book? Got him. Let's get to prime time. It's where we talk about any questions that we still have that we'd like some answers to. Alonzo, tell me about it.
I would like to think that there is nothing but rosy, happy times ahead for this couple. But I also know about the ongoing history of the British, class system and racism. And I just don't know how long before the Earl of Gloucester says or does something really inappropriate and really just condescending to this lovely mixed race family. So I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst.
Yeah. And I think we're going to get to find out.
Producer Aaron says that we have a sequel coming.
On the way for this movie.
Goody.
Well,
okay.
There you go. So I appreciate that. Hey, we have this ice cream truck. You can't sell ice cream all year. Let's find some other stuff for this to be useful. I just want to know the origin of getting to like the turkey, the turducken,
Turducken. Turducken has got a Dunkin'
That's
Donut
Dunkin'
in there.
Donuts. It's a bunch of munchkins in there.
That's a Massachusetts.
How did he get there? What's the progression of? All right, we can't do ice cream anymore. What's next?
Turkey,
birds, poultry of different assortments. I just want to know how he got there. Dano?
Yeah. I wanted to see the scene that apparently is on the cutting room floor or nowhere where Steve comes clean to the family. I think that would be, considering the caricature that is Steve, I think it would have been fascinating for that guy who seems like a pure Marvel villain who says fake things on the phone, doesn't let James even talk to her. All of a sudden, James walks out the door and he becomes hey, I got to be honest with you guys. I want to see that scene. I want to see how it played out. I want to see if he's actually sincere and genuine or if he's the worst person in the world. That would be mine.
Fair. We did it, everybody. Congratulations. Next week, we're heading to what I think was originally just on Tubi. Now it's anywhere and everywhere that you want to find it. Mm-hmm. It's Christmas at the Holly Hotel.
And this was a listener recommendation.
Yes, we got it submitted to us and said, hey, I think this will be a hoot.
And this will be our first Christmas in July, George.
Yes, it'll be our first movie for Christmas in July. What better way to celebrate July 3rd?
And in 2.5 weeks, Alonzo, we'll be seeing you in person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's right.
The fest.
Amazing. I can't wait. Until next time, maybe the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. What? For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.